Hello everyone, today we'll be using ChatGPT to do depreciation methods and book value analysis. So first I am going to pull up my lab and I'm also going to pull up ChatGPT. I already did this lab and I'm just going to run through it with y'all. So basically I said start a new chat. And the first thing that I ask is I want to analyze how different depreciation methods affect book value over time. The asset cost is $100,000, useful life is 10 years, and salvage value is $10,000. So after I input this first prompt, ChatGPT gives me some information about what it thinks I'm going to ask about and what methods it believes it will be best to be used. And it kind of lays out some of the numbers that I also already asked. So after that, I input my Excel sheet to the ChatGPT website so it can analyze what numbers I'm going to be using, which I'm using the same numbers for book value, salvage value, and useful life. The only difference will be each year and how much it's depreciating based off of year 1 versus year 10. So after that, I'm going to go back to my lab instructions and ChatGPT, and it actually already gives me a chart, and that's actually very helpful even though I didn't ask for that yet. And it then goes through what else can I help you with? And so we're going to go through with the first prompt once I scroll down this page. The first prompt that I'm going to put is please calculate the annual depreciation expense and ending book value for each year using the straight line method. So ChatGPT is going to give me a chart. It's going to show that each year it's going to depreciate by $9,000. We're going to have an ending book value of $10,000 after 10 years. It lays it out perfectly. No complaints. It's accurate, and it also gives me some notes at the end. After we do straight line depreciation, I'm going to ask it the next prompt, which is now calculate the same schedule using the double declining balance method. And as you can see, exact same chart. The only thing that's different is the numbers. And it gives me the formula. It explains how each number gets to the ending book value after 10 years. And then after that prompt, we're going to go to the sum of years digits method. So I asked now calculate the schedule for sum of years digits. It gives me the exact same chart as the other two, and it also gives me a summary. After I get those 3 different charts, I then want to share the story, which would be combined these 3 depreciation schedules into a single comparison table with columns for year, straight line book value, double declining book value, and sum of years digits book value. So basically it's combining the 3 different charts into one chart, so it makes it easier for you to read to then create the table afterwards. After we get the depreciation schedule, we can then lay all these observations into a chart, and we're basically going to see the exact same chart that was given above, but for this lab, you want to write, create a line chart comparing book values under all 3 methods over the 10-year life. And then I also gave it a title, and I have no complaints on this chart. ChatGPT laid out the chart perfectly. It did 10 years. It showed how the different depreciation methods varied, but how they all ended up using the exact same value at the end. So it also gives you an interpretation, and I believe that this is very accurate. So now we're going to go on to multiple choice. So for the first question, what is the annual depreciation expense in year 1 using straight line method? The answer is 9,000, and I also like that it gives you the formula in case you have any confusion with accounting or you didn't know the formula for annual depreciation. I believe that ChatGPT is great on explanations. Sometimes it overanalyzes it, but other than that, this answer is pretty straightforward. The next question, which method reports the lowest book value at the end of year 1? It's obviously double declining balance if you've taken accounting classes. But if you didn't know, it gives you an explanation, and then it also lays out all the different values. For the next question, it is over the full 10 years, which method results in the same total depreciation as the others. So all of them produce the same value because it's 10,000 is the salvage value. It also shows the total depreciation amount. It's all going to be the same because you want the same salvage value. So continuing, this is the last multiple choice question. Double declining balance is the one with the fastest depreciation in the early years. So then we can now continue to the open-ended questions. So I liked how it explained this first question. However, I believe that it was too long, so I asked, please write it into a 2-sentence summary. And I believe that that makes it a lot easier if you are trying to write something quickly and you don't want to read through everything, and it's easier to just skim through the bulk of the information and then ask it to create the 2-sentence summary so you can then write your own thoughts based off of a smaller portion of information. Same as the next one, ChatGPT didn't really get the idea of the 2-sentence summary when I was asking what are the disadvantages and advantages of using accelerated depreciation methods. It gives me some bulleted points, but then I also ask, please put it in a 2-sentence summary again. So it does that for me. And then for the last two, ChatGPT kind of picks up on the idea of, okay, I've asked that question twice now. So when I ask the third question, it then produces a 2-sentence summary, as you can see. And when you're answering these open-ended questions, that's what I think is all that's needed for these types of questions, especially when it's an accounting answer. And overall, ChatGPT really understands how to do book value analysis and depreciation methods of accounting. I hope that this lab helped you understand a little bit how to input all these values into ChatGPT, and that's all for today. Thank you.